acceptance and indulgence of the seasons. That phrase just came to me and I had to record it because I wanted to remember it. Acceptance and indulgence of the seasons, because lately I have been trying to do that, probably not by like naming it yet. I mean, I just named it, but I've been trying to flow more intentionally with the seasons, specifically my menstrual cycle, specifically after this winter. Really, I've had the experience this winter. This winter was just really dark and like wintry to me and shadowy to me. I just had nothing like externally was that intense, but like my inner world was just really conflicted and really, it kind of forced me to rest, and I think that's what it was. And I've come to this like realization after going through winter and life is just so much more enjoyable and flowy when you first accept the season that you're in. You're aware of the season that you're in first. I guess it all begins with awareness, right? So you're aware of the season you're in first, then you accept what that season is for you and what it means for you. And maybe that's based off of history, or that's just based off of like a collective energy, right? But I almost lost my train of thought, so let me go back. You accept it. So you go off maybe of history or of like knowledge in a book or somebody else's passed down knowledge, right? Passed down knowledge of that season based off of astrology or whatever you like to pull from, or whatever you like to learn from, or understand the world with, religion, right? Whatever you understand the world with, relate to the world with. But then you apply that to yourself, and then you indulge in the energy. So, for example, I'm going to give an example for the sake of this video, because I don't even know what's going to happen to this video right now. But, for example, I've been going with my menstrual cycle. So this winter, I've decided that winter is a time for introspection, releasing, healing, shadow work, basically shadow work. Winter. And then as you come into the spring, I've started to kind of like a moon cycle, right? You could think of the 4 seasons as 4 phases of the moon too. So the winter would be the new moon. It's your introspective time. It's your shadow work time. And then you come into the spring and it's the first quarter moon, and it's when first projects are coming to life. But the thing is, with the energy, you have to indulge in it as it's shifting, because you have to kind of give it momentum. Everything is an action. You can't just sit back and let everything come to you, right? It's a balance. So things come to you. You allow the universe to bring things to you, but you also bring things into the universe. It's a give and take. It's like a hunt and gather society that we have, working with nature, even if we're not aware of it and working with it. But if we work with it, then we can grow with it, right? But anyways, I'm losing my train of thought. So the first quarter moon, but you have to indulge in the energy. So for example, I was coming out of my period this last week, and I had finished up some projects at my period, because your period is kind of like the last quarter moon. Your projects are coming to a close, right? Your full moon. So the first quarter moon projects are growing, creating, starting. The new moon is time for creating internally, creating, daydreaming, internal manifestation, internal visualization. And then as you start to apply those things in the first quarter moon, then new realizations come and new things come about, because now you're mixing the two energies, right? So new revelations come about, and then the full moon happens, and then it's like the mix of that. So you've spent time meditating on it, you've spent time visualizing it, and then you come into the full moon, or the first quarter moon, and then you've combined the action, and then so like you listen and then you act, right? So oh my God, this goes well with my free to play course too. It's like all connected. But in my free to play course, I talk about how hearing is 2 parts: listening, hearing, and you have empathic listening. And then the next part is action. So your new moon would be your listening phase. Your first quarter moon would be your action phase. And then your full moon is kind of like your I am fully committed. Now I'm sustaining it phase. I'm figuring out ways to sustain this. I'm figuring out ways to grow it. I'm like putting, things are happening, right? Like projects are launching, events are happening, things like that, in a business way or in a whatever creative endeavor way. And then you take the waning moon to reap the benefits. Then you're like coming back into this restful, like you've had this, it's kind of like a breath. You breathe in, it's kind of like a wave. The ocean fills, it gets bigger, and then as an exhale, you empty and you get slower, and the waves like settle down and peace out for a moment, right? So it's like that wave. It's like the filling, the momentum, the massive, beautiful show wave, the massive crash would be the like you're coming back into the water, you're giving the water back, so that would be the last quarter moon, right? So the beautiful, huge wave that's happening that surfers are on, that's the full moon, and then the wave crashes, and that's the last quarter moon, and the third quarter moon, and you're reaping the benefits. The water's coming back into the ocean. You are getting back in what you've put out now. So that's like the getting back. Oh my God, it totally is. It's like the getting back, and then you come into the new moon, and then you come back into this rest. And yeah, how cool is that? And then literally 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4, and I was born on August 4th, and Hazel was born on the 22nd, and 2 + 2 is 4. That is freaking fucking weird. Anyways, but the 4 seasons, right? The 4 moon phases, everything. So this is my share for today. If I share this anywhere, I should just like start a YouTube channel and just put this on YouTube, because what do I do with this? I don't know. Instagram can't handle a 7-minute video about the seasons and flowing with the seasons. So the most beautiful, all the birds just flew off the sign at once. And like birds, they just flow, right? Like the birds can like tell what's happening before it happens, and like they're so in tune. They feel the energy shifts, they feel the subtle energy shifts of the collective consciousness, because they're connected to the nature. Nature is that collective energy, and we're all connected. We just have a choice whether to learn about it. And humans have so much else going on, but more buildings and more concrete, then we have less and less of this connection, right? So you have to go out of your way in this day and age. You have to go out of your way to connect back to the truth of who you are. And people try and make it so confusing by adding in other parties, and it's just so simple. You are just, it's you. Look at the reality of where you are. You have 4 seasons in the year. You have 4 quarters of life, right? You have your like your teens, and you know, like the quarters of life, and it's just everything happens in that 4. And if you learn how to indulge in it and anticipate it and feel the subtle energy shifts, like the birds, like you feel the subtle taste of spring, and you start to maybe step outside your comfort zone of the sheltered winter and try it out. Just try it out, see how it feels. If it doesn't feel good, you start resting again. And maybe it's like the Vegas weather. It's like very like symbolic of Vegas weather right now. It'll be like freezing and cold. It's kind of like weather in general, like, right? It'll be freezing and cold, and it'll be sunny the next week, and then the weather's like, oh, I'm just kidding, I'm not ready to come out yet, and then it'll go back to cold. I'm still resting, right? So let us be like weather. Let us be okay and accepting of the different energies that we feel, and not trying to mask it or force it, but trying to flow with it and trying to indulge, see how it feels. When you indulge, you see how much you want to eat, right? It's an indulgence. You're not restricted, but you're not forcing, and you're not eating too much. You're indulging. You are allowing yourself to eat as much as you feels good. That is what indulgence is. You're allowing yourself to indulge without guilt, without shame, without pressure, right? You're just allowing yourself to do and stop when it feels good to stop, and keep going when it feels good to keep going, without a lot of thought behind it. You're just feeling the rhythms. You're feeling that subtle energy. And how do you connect to that? Well, by my free to play course. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go. Bye.